The night was thick as ink, and the wind carried sand like waves across the tomb field. Centuries ago, during the Qin dynasty, a group of grave robbers broke into an ancient royal tomb, the Maoling Mausoleum of Emperor Wu of Han, a resting place sealed for nearly 2,000 years. They pried open the ancient stone gate, and from the crack, darkness and silence poured out like breath from another world. The air inside was thin. Their torches started to fade, struggling to stay alive against the cold stone walls. And then, at the far end of the passage, a faint glow appeared, soft and trembling, like fireflies in the dark. They thought it was a trap, some hidden mechanism waiting to strike. Holding their breath, they crept closer and realized it wasn't a weapon, but a bronze lamp. Inside the lamp was a liquid, clear as water, yet somehow it glowed on its own. That faint light spilled across the stone coffin, as if illuminating a soul that had been sleeping for 2,000 years. Terrified, the robbers fled. When they finally dared to return, the tomb gate had already collapsed, and that mysterious lamp was never seen again. Similar stories were told about tombs of Emperor Taizong of Tang, Empress Wu Zetian, and the Ming emperors buried near Beijing. Each time grave robbers, or later archaeologists, opened a royal tomb, someone would claim to see a faint, flickering light still burning in the dark. And so people began to believe it wasn't just a flame, or even a lamp, but a sign that the emperor's spirit still remained. And far beyond China, the same kind of stories were whispered. In the pyramids of Egypt and the imperial tombs of Rome, people claimed they had seen a faint light still flickering deep inside, as if time itself had failed to put it out. No one knows if those tales were true or not, but for thousands of years, people have believed that such lights were the gentle flames left behind by the souls of the dead. But here's a real question. In a tomb sealed for 1,000 years, could any flame really burn that long? Hey there, this is Emma Kong. Today, let's talk about something ancient and still glowing in the dark. The eternal lamp inside an emperor's tomb. In the world of ancient China, life and death were never the end, but rather two connected realms of existence. When a person died, their spirit was believed to journey into another world, to keep living a life much like the one before. The tomb then wasn't just a grave, it was a house for the afterlife, a home for the soul. That's why the ancients called it the Yin residence, the dwelling of the dead. For the emperors, life itself was a kingdom, filled with palaces, rituals, and endless worship. And in death, they believed they still deserved a palace for the soul, a place that could shine with eternal light. That palace was the mausoleum, to keep the afterlife from falling into darkness. They wanted their tombs to glow just like the halls of their earthly courts. And so, they created the eternal lamp, a light meant to burn forever, a symbol of a soul that would never fade. The first people to discover these so-called eternal lamps were not scientists, but grave robbers. They broke into the tombs, expecting gold and deadly traps, but what they saw instead nearly scared the life out of them. Centuries later, in 1957, archaeologists opened the Eastern Han tomb of a true king, a royal chamber buried for almost 2,000 years. Inside its stone chamber, they found a bronze lamp, still releasing a thin wisp of smoke. The oil was warm, the wick had turned to ash, as if the flame had just gone out moments ago. News of the discovery spread quickly, and soon the whole nation was stunned. People began to wonder, Had the ancients really mastered the secret of an internal flame? Even ancient records mention it. In the records of the grand historian, the Shi Ji, it's written that Emperor Qin Shi Huang's underground palace was lit by lamps made of mermaid fat, whose light would never die out. Of course, mermaid fat wasn't magic at all. It referred to the oil of deep-sea creatures, what we now call whale oil. Scientists later calculated that 1 ton of whale oil could burn for about 14 years. But 14 years is not 1,000. So what kept those ancient flames burning? Archaeologists began to investigate. In ancient texts and even modern lab reports, they found references to several mysterious fuels. One was called mermaid ointment. It was made from deep-sea animal fat, mixed with metal powder, and could burn slowly for years. Another was known as cinnabar oil. It combined mercury from red cinnabar with plant oils, creating a faint, ghostly glow. And then there was phospholipid oil, a substance rendered from animal bones that could emit a bluish light whenever it touched moisture. These substances were closely tied to the ancient art of alchemy. During the Han Dynasty, alchemy wasn't only about seeking immortality, it was also about seeking eternal light. The ancients believed that as long as a tomb was lit, the spirit of the dead would never lose its way in the darkness beyond. In 1973, an archaeological team excavated a noble's tomb in Guanghan City, Sichuan Province. The stone gate had been sealed for centuries. When they finally broke it open, a rush of air swept through the chamber. And in that instant, the team saw it, a bronze lamp glowing with a faint blue light. Then, with a soft whoosh, the flame flickered once and went out. Lab tests revealed that the lamp oil contained unusually high levels of phosphorus and potassium. Scientists believe it might be the result of a phosphorescent chemical reaction. But there was something strange. The lamp's body remained constantly warmer than the air around it, as if it was still releasing some kind of hidden energy. Some say it was a byproduct of ancient alchemy. Others believe it was a spiritual light, a beacon to guide the dead through the darkness. Science can explain the flame, but not the intention behind it. Who lit that lamp? And for whom was it meant to burn? Later, a simpler explanation began to surface. In 1995, a tomb from the Warring States period was looted in Luoyang City, Henan Province. The grave robbers even filmed it, and in their video, a lamp inside the tomb was clearly still burning. But scientific tests revealed that the flame wasn't coming from the lamp oil at all. It was phosphine gas. Phosphine spontaneously igniting as it met the fresh air. Phosphine is a gas produced when phosphorus from bodies, coffins, and bones slowly breaks down in a sealed environment. It's colorless, has a strong odor, and is extremely flammable. When the tomb door is opened and oxygen rushes in, the phosphine gas ignites instantly, creating a bluish-white flame that looks as if the ancient lamp has come back to life. The flame may have burned for only a few seconds, but people saw it as the light of eternity. Yet the story didn't end there. In 2002, the Department of Chemistry at Peking University conducted an experiment. Using a formula found in ancient texts, they mixed ancient fat, diluted mercury, and phosphorus powder to recreate the legendary mermaid ointment. They placed it inside a sealed glass chamber and set it alight. In the end, the flame burned steadily for 43 days, almost smokeless, and the oil was still not consumed. It proved that the ancients had truly mastered the secret of efficient fuel. Yet, in a sealed, airless tomb, no flame should be able to burn for centuries. If one truly did, then it wasn't just chemistry anymore. And so, some scholars proposed a rather unusual idea, the Yin Energy Hypothesis. The ancients believed that Yin energy, the core silent force that gathers in tombs and shadows, was also a kind of power. They thought that when a tomb was filled with Yin energy, and the lamp oil could draw from it as fuel, the flame would never die. Of course, it was only a symbolic metaphor, but it reminds us of something timeless, that whether through science, mysticism, or faith, human beings have always longed for one thing, that even after death, there would still be light. If one day we truly opened the underground palace of Emperor Qin Shi Huang, built more than 2,000 years ago, do you think that lamp would still be burning? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy stories that explore the unknown, please like and subscribe so you won't miss what comes next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.